So you might have noticed that Elon Musk is in the news yet again, and this time it's pretty big because he was at this New York Times summit and he had some very colorful words for all the advertisers that decided to pull out of Twitter or X for advertising. And specifically, he called out Disney and Bob Iger. And what he said was, go F yourself. So you could figure out what that means, or GFY as he likes to say. And this was in response to, I guess, some articles that said that there were really questionable ads appearing on Twitter and X. Even though these type of posts and ads didn't seem natural, and at the same time, we see a lot of questionable content on other platforms like Facebook, Meta, IG, TikTok, and YouTube, but yet advertisers have not pulled out of those platforms. And what is the results of this? Well, it has led to a recent movement of cancel Disney, where people are deciding to cancel their Disney Plus account, but also cancel other accounts like Paramount Plus. So whether or not this has any real long-term impacts on Disney is yet to be seen. But I will say this is not a good time for all of this happening for the Disney brand and company because, well, Disney is under fire in many different cases. Right now, there are some large investors that are actually trying to take over Disney, specifically Nelson Peltz and another large investors. They are the largest shareholder, so they are trying to take over the board. And in that case, they will have more power and control. And more than likely, if they get their way, then Bob Iger and the rest of the people running it will probably be out. And if you look at like recent performance of Disney, it doesn't seem bad. If you just look at like 5 days, 1 month, it looks okay. And actually, it looks like it's on the way up. But it's when you actually look out further, when you go to the year to date, and then 1 year, 5 year, and then max. And you see that, there was a huge peak in 2021, and then it starts going down. And so basically Disney has been going on a downward trend, and most of it is related to their movie entertainment properties. And for anybody who even pays attention to this stuff, they'll know that Disney has been having a really hard time. And the most recent ones are the Marvels, which it looks like it's going to be the first MCU movie not to even reach 100 million domestically. Right now it's at 77.9 or 78 million. More than likely it's over 80 million by now, and worldwide is at 188 million. And then more recently, we had the release of their animated feature Wish, which did really horribly. It is so far at 33.9, or basically 34, 35 million domestically and 51 million worldwide. And this year in 2023 looks to be the worst year for Disney when it comes to their movies, entertainment properties, as they're probably going to lose more than 700 or 800 million dollars for their movies. And also this affects other things. It affects their entertainment properties, their theme parks and so forth. They're seeing a decline year over year. And also where they make a lot of their money is in their merchandising as well. So all of those things are not good for Bob Iger and crew. And well, having Elon Musk, who is arguably probably one of the most well-known and most wealthy and powerful people in the world, this isn't a good thing. And I think Disney has even more pressure to actually do something, whether it's in the near term or as soon as possible. And obviously, with a company this large, it's not going to be anything that happens quickly. But if Disney wants to turn this around, they really have no choice. And I would say, just my opinion, that everything that's happening with these ad platforms, these big businesses pulling out, once again, it's something that you don't see happening in other platforms, even though they have really questionable content as well. And more often than not, these companies are pulling out for content that seems to be very similar, meaning that, it seems very politically driven. So if your content or whatever you post is more towards whatever is, agreed upon by the mainstream media and the governments involved, then you're okay. But if it's against that, then you're not okay. And with most companies, they have a lot of money and power, so they're able to exert their pressure on there and obviously take away content that they don't deem acceptable. And that leads to this whole idea and actually results of censorship. And that's what Elon Musk is trying to fight on Twitter and X. And ever since he took it over, he's been under a lot of fire. And this all goes back to, in my opinion, control. So these companies, whether it's these media companies, entertainment properties, whatever the case might be, the ones with the biggest money and power want to have the most control. And you see it here. And so with this, I think in general, this will be a really good shakeup to the entire industry, because as anybody who's been a content creator knows that YouTube, ad apocalypse has happened multiple times, Meta and Facebook as well. And so they did the same thing there. These companies decided to pull their advertising money, and that's how most of these companies make their money. And because of that, they had to comply, and a lot of content or content that didn't agree with that was actually removed or suppressed. And so for me, well, I don't really watch a lot of Disney entertainment anymore, and I'm more interested in things that I really like Godzilla Minus One, which I'm definitely going to be checking out. And I enjoy international cinema much more than I do what's coming out of Hollywood, because they do what these companies are supposed to do, and that is entertain people. At least that's my opinion. So if you actually had any thoughts on this, be sure to leave in the comments there below, and I'll see you on another episode. Protect your online privacy and keep data brokers from selling your personal information by using Delete Me, the #1 privacy information remover service since 2010. Sign up today and get 20% off your first order. For more information, check out the affiliate link in the description area below.